Star Trek Beyond opens with a familiar sense of adventure and exploration that defines the Star Trek franchise. Set in the 23rd century, the USS Enterprise is deep into its 5-year mission of peaceful exploration, continuing the legacy of Starfleet's commitment to discovering new civilizations, seeking out new life, and boldly going where no one has gone before. However, as the crew embarks on their latest journey into the unknown, the film subtly introduces the tension that will soon disrupt the harmony of their mission. The film begins with Captain James T. Kirk, Chris Pine, who has been commanding the Enterprise for several years now. While the crew is confident in their purpose, Kirk's inner turmoil is evident. Although outwardly a leader filled with determination and courage, Kirk is clearly struggling with the passage of time and the monotony that has begun to plague his sense of purpose. After years of undertaking mission after mission, his sense of adventure, once the driving force behind his leadership, has dimmed. This early exploration of Kirk's character is both personal and profound, as he questions whether the endless pursuit of unknown worlds is truly fulfilling, or if it has simply become a routine. The opening scenes serve to set the tone for his emotional journey throughout the film, as he grapples with his purpose, identity, and legacy. Kirk's disillusionment with the idea of being a captain becomes a central theme of the film. His internal conflict challenges the ideals of the Star Trek universe, where exploration is meant to be a lofty and grand goal. But here it's depicted as something that can begin to feel burdensome over time. Kirk expresses his concerns to his longtime friend and first officer, Spock, Zachary Quinto, and the two share a rare and candid conversation about the future of their respective careers. Spock, who also struggles with his own existential dilemmas related to his identity as the last surviving Vulcan, offers a more logical perspective, yet his own doubts about Starfleet and his place within it subtly echo Kirk's sentiments. This early dynamic sets the stage for the emotional evolution of both characters as they confront their insecurities. Another important aspect introduced in this section is the evolving relationship between the crew members, who, despite their different backgrounds and personalities, have formed a family-like bond over the years. Their camaraderie is a cornerstone of the film's appeal and a key to its emotional resonance. Each member of the crew, including Spock, Dr. Leonard, Bones McCoy, Karl Urban, Lieutenant Uhura, Zoe Saldaña, Scotty, Simon Pegg, Sulu, John Cho, and Chekhov, Anton Yelchin, is shown as a valued part of a collective unit. However, even with this strong foundation, the crew is not immune to moments of personal vulnerability. Spock's role in this section is particularly important, as his character's emotional struggles come to the forefront in Star Trek Beyond. Having been deeply affected by the death of his alternate universe counterpart in the previous film, Star Trek Into Darkness, 2013, Spock is at a crossroads in his life. His deep sense of duty to the Federation conflicts with the deep pain he feels from the loss of his people, and this internal struggle makes him more introspective and distant from the rest of the crew. His relationship with Kirk is also strained during this period, with both characters silently wrestling with the burden of leadership. Spock's journey throughout Beyond is one of emotional growth, and the film sets up his evolution as he learns to embrace both his Vulcan heritage and his emotional humanity. As Kirk's dissatisfaction with the Enterprise continues to grow, his conversations with Bones and Spock reveal the emotional isolation that often accompanies leadership. Though surrounded by his crew, Kirk feels disconnected from his role, and in some ways, he wonders if his place in Starfleet has run its course. This theme of searching for meaning and personal purpose is one that runs through the movie and shapes the decisions the crew makes. At this point in the film, we see the vulnerability in Kirk that wasn't as prominent in earlier movies. His leadership, once driven by a bold sense of adventure and an unwavering commitment to Starfleet's mission, is now clouded by doubt and uncertainty. The crew's arrival at the planet Altamid, where they are scheduled to meet with the mysterious Federation outpost called Yorktown, serves as the inciting event for the rest of the movie. The Starfleet mission at this station provides the promise of a new challenge, potentially offering the adventure Kirk desperately seeks. However, the film's setup begins to suggest that what awaits them will not only test their professional abilities, but also force them to confront their deepest fears, personal crises, and relationships with one another. In this early section, we are introduced to the crew's professional dynamics, as well as the unique quirks that make them such a strong team. The friendship between Bones and Spock, often filled with humorous bickering, takes on more significance in this installment. The two constantly challenge each other's philosophies, Spock with his cold logic and Bones with his fiery emotional responses. But beneath the surface, a deep respect exists between the two. Their humorous banter in Civil War gives way to more serious moments where they are forced to rely on one another, and in turn, this collaboration strengthens their bond. Scotty, with his quick wit and technical expertise, serves as an emotional support for Kirk, reminding him of the importance of the crew and their shared mission. Another element emphasized in this section is the expanded scope of the Federation and Starfleet's reach. The Federation has grown considerably since its inception, symbolized by the Yorktown Space Station, a massive gleaming structure that represents the height of human achievement and cooperation in the 23rd century. This space station represents the optimistic future that the crew is meant to protect. The station's advanced technologies, its architecture, and its vibrant population show just how much the Federation has come to symbolize peace and exploration for the future of humanity and other species. But as the film quickly turns darker, this symbol of hope becomes a target for Krall's destructive ambitions. In parallel to Kirk's growing disillusionment, we see the underlying theme of unity being tested among the crew. The interactions between each of the crew members reflect their deepening understanding of each other's strengths and vulnerabilities. While Kirk begins to question his leadership in the future of the mission, the rest of the crew remains fiercely loyal to him. Spock's and McCoy's banter, which has become a hallmark of the series, provides both comic relief and a moment of bonding between the characters, grounding their personal conflicts in humor. These interactions also serve to demonstrate the importance of camaraderie in the face of adversity. The emotional groundwork laid in the opening scenes of Star Trek Beyond not only introduces us to the crew's vulnerabilities, but also provides insight into the true nature of their leadership. The emotional arcs of both Kirk and Spock form the foundation for the narrative that follows. Their relationship becomes one of mutual respect and understanding, reflecting the larger message of the film, that even the most confident of leaders must sometimes question their roles, deal with personal doubts, and rely on their teams when facing the unknown. Ultimately, Star Trek Beyond's opening serves as a reflection of the crew's deeper emotional journey, focusing on the personal trials and doubts that accompany their otherwise stellar accomplishments. The film sets the tone for a narrative about growth, identity, and the importance of friendship. In the face of an imminent threat and a world-shattering attack, the crew will need to rediscover their bonds and find new strength in each other if they are to survive. In Star Trek Beyond, the threat that emerges is not just an external one, but also a deeply personal conflict that challenges the ideals of Starfleet and its crew. Krall, played by Idris Elba, the film's primary antagonist, is introduced with an air of mystery and menace. He is a figure who embodies both the pain of the past and the twisted desire to undo the progress represented by the Federation and its ideals of peace. Unlike previous Star Trek villains who often represent straightforward, external threats, Krall is a more complex character, driven by personal loss, betrayal, and a warped sense of justice. His introduction in the film marks a significant shift in how the crew of the USS Enterprise will confront not just a physical battle, but an ideological one as well. Krall's introduction begins with an ominous and shadowy presence as he takes control of a band of alien marauders who launch an attack on the Enterprise while it is on a mission of exploration. At first, Krall's motivations are unclear. His formidable appearance, complete with his military garb and monstrous visage, immediately sets him apart as a powerful enemy. His primary goal at first seems to be simply the destruction of the Enterprise and its crew, but as the film unfolds, it becomes clear that his ambitions are far greater and more dangerous. Krall is a man of immense power, but it is his past that defines him and shapes his actions. As the story progresses, We learn that Karl was once a Starfleet officer, a warrior who fought for the Federation. This revelation adds a layer of complexity to his character and introduces a personal vendetta that fuels his animosity toward the ideals of the Federation. Karl's hatred stems not from a desire for wealth, fame, or power, but from a deep disillusionment with the Federation's shift from military might and war to peace and diplomacy. Once a soldier who thrived in the chaos of conflict, Karl has come to see the Federation's peaceful ideals as a form of weakness, something that betrays the warrior culture that he believed in. This ideological rift is at the core of his motivations, and it drives his actions throughout the film. Karl's descent into villainy is shaped by his rejection of the Federation's values. He sees the peace the Federation seeks to promote as misguided, choosing instead to embrace destruction and war as a means of asserting his own version of power. The ideological clash between Karl and the crew of the Enterprise becomes a central theme of the film, as the crew is forced to not only face the immediate threat he poses, but also the darker question of what the Federation stands for in a universe that seems to be full of enemies. The dichotomy between Karl's belief in the strength of war and the Federation's ideals of peace and cooperation challenges the very essence of Starfleet and the values the Enterprise crew has spent years upholding. A key moment in understanding Karl's motivations comes when it is revealed that he possesses a powerful weapon capable of wiping out entire planets. This weapon, an ancient alien artifact, becomes the focal point of his plan to dismantle the Federation. He believes that by using the weapon, he can return the galaxy to its chaotic, war-torn state, a world where his idea of strength and survival rules the day. The contrast between the Federation's peaceful aspirations and Karl's desire for chaos forms the emotional and philosophical heart of the conflict. For the crew of the Enterprise, this battle is not just about defeating a physical enemy. It's about defending the very ideals they have come to believe in. Karl's motivations are revealed in stages, with each twist in his character adding to the complexity of his actions. It becomes clear that his desire to destroy the Federation is not a simple act of villainy, but a deeply personal revenge against what he perceives as the Federation's abandonment of the very principles he once fought for. His story is a tragedy in many ways, as it shows how someone who was once part of a noble cause can become disillusioned and twisted by the passage of time and the evolution of ideals. Karl's belief that the Federation's transition to peace was a betrayal of his own values reflects the dangers of extremism and how ideological purity can be warped by personal pain. The contrast between Karl and the crew of the Enterprise is sharply drawn. While Karl seeks to tear down what the Federation has built, the crew represents the opposite, a group of individuals who, despite their differences, come together to protect the ideals of peace, unity, and mutual respect. This dynamic forms the emotional core of Star Trek Beyond, as the crew must not only fight against Karl's forces, but also confront their own doubts about the path they have chosen. Karl's challenge to the Federation is not just about physical confrontation, but a challenge to their very way of life. The film also uses Karl's character to explore the idea of identity and transformation. Karl's true identity is hidden for much of the film, and when it is finally revealed, the audience is confronted with a deeply human story. Karl, in his former life, was a Federation officer named Balthazar Edison, a man who was once filled with pride in his work and his duty to Starfleet. However, after being stranded on a desolate planet for years and watching the Federation change, Edison becomes consumed by bitterness. His transformation into Karl is symbolic of how one's experiences, especially feelings of abandonment and betrayal, can shape one's future choices and lead to extreme ideologies. The revelation that Karl was once a man who shared the same ideals as the crew of the Enterprise makes him a more tragic figure, adding depth to his character and making him a more compelling villain. This personal connection between Karl and the crew of the Enterprise becomes the film's central tension. Karl is not simply an alien invader. He is a former member of the Federation who has been corrupted by time and disillusionment. The crew's task is not just to defeat a physical threat, but to defend the ideals of the Federation, which Karl represents an existential challenge to. This struggle against Karl is a reflection of the larger battle the crew faces, reconciling the ideals they hold dear with the harsh realities of the universe. Karl's personal connection to the Federation and his transformation into a villainous figure forced the crew to confront the fragility of their beliefs, while also reinforcing the power of unity and the shared goals of exploration and cooperation. The film also touches on the concept of sacrifice. Karl's actions, including his manipulation of an ancient weapon, highlight his willingness to sacrifice not only the lives of others, but his own humanity in the pursuit of vengeance. His desperation to tear down the Federation's ideals becomes a form of self-destruction, as his personal pain blinds him to the possibility of redemption. This willingness to sacrifice everything for his beliefs is mirrored by the crew's own journey, where they are forced to risk their lives to protect the Federation's future. Karl's tragic arc, his transformation from a once proud Federation officer into a destroyer of worlds, adds emotional weight to the film's central conflict, reminding the audience that the cost of war and violence is not only felt by the victims, but also by those who choose to inflict harm. In conclusion, Karl is a villain who challenges the core values of the Star Trek universe, forcing the crew of the Enterprise to confront not just an external enemy, but the internal ideological conflicts that lie within their own hearts. His character, driven by personal loss and disillusionment, presents a complex and tragic figure who acts as both an enemy and a reflection of the deeper themes of the film. As Star Trek Beyond progresses, Karl's motivations become clearer, and his desire to destroy the Federation's ideals is revealed as a reflection of his own internal struggle. In the end, Karl's story is one of loss, betrayal, and the consequences of failing to adapt to a changing universe, making him one of the most memorable and emotionally resonant villains in the Star Trek franchise. In Star Trek Beyond, one of the most shocking and intense moments in the film occurs with the destruction of the USS Enterprise. This is not just an action-packed sequence, though it certainly is that, but it serves as a turning point in the narrative, symbolizing the emotional and physical toll that the crew of the Enterprise will have to endure. The destruction of the Enterprise is an event that changes the course of the film, setting the stage for new challenges, personal growth, and the reinvention of the crew's mission. The attack on the Enterprise comes unexpectedly, as the ship is drawn into Karl's trap while attempting to complete a routine mission to deliver a message to an uncharted space station, Yorktown. Karl's forces, who have been lurking in the shadows, ambush the ship as it enters a treacherous nebula. This is a moment of pure tension, as the crew is completely caught off guard by the attack. The Enterprise, a symbol of exploration, unity, and the Federation's ideals, is suddenly under assault, and its defenses are quickly overwhelmed. The film effectively conveys the vulnerability of the Enterprise in this moment, no longer an unstoppable force, but a ship facing its own limits in the face of a highly coordinated and relentless enemy. As Karl's forces close in, the Enterprise hull is breached and torn apart by an onslaught of missiles and energy blasts. The crew is thrown into chaos as the ship is bombarded from all sides. The destruction is not just physical, but psychological, as the crew members are forced to react quickly to the unfolding disaster. Captain Kirk, despite his disillusionment, is thrown back into a leadership role, guiding his team through the chaos with calm authority. But even Kirk, whose confidence has been shaken throughout the film, faces his own doubts as he leads the crew through the disaster. This loss of control is important because it humanizes Kirk, showing that even a leader of his caliber can be vulnerable in the face of overwhelming odds. The destruction of the ship is depicted in a breathtaking, visceral way, with special effects that show the ship breaking apart in space, sections of the Enterprise exploding into debris. The intensity of this sequence is further heightened by the sound design and visuals, which make the destruction feel as if it is happening in real time. The crew must scramble to escape the ship, and their desperate actions underscore the true gravity of the situation. This sequence is not just a test of the crew's physical capabilities, but of their ability to endure the emotional shock of losing their home, their means of protection, and their shared history. For many of the crew members, the destruction of the Enterprise represents the loss of something deeply personal. The ship is not just a vessel for exploration, it is a symbol of their family, their duty, and their purpose. Spock, whose connection to Starfleet is complicated by his role as the last surviving Vulcan, is particularly shaken by the loss of the ship. His own struggles with identity and legacy are reflected in the way he processes the loss. The Enterprise, which has been an enduring symbol of hope and unity, is no more, and Spock is forced to reckon with the idea that even the most enduring symbols of the Federation are not invulnerable. The personal impact of this loss is also felt by Dr. Leonard Bones McCoy, who is not just a medical officer but also a longtime friend to Kirk and Spock. McCoy's emotional response to the destruction of the Enterprise adds depth to the film's exploration of the crew's bond. As a doctor, McCoy is often seen as the moral compass of the group, offering comfort and support to his fellow crew members in times of crisis. In Star Trek Beyond, McCoy's reaction to the destruction of the ship highlights the emotional weight of the situation. The ship represents more than just a means of transportation to him. It represents years of shared experiences, both joyous and difficult. His struggle to cope with the loss is a poignant reminder of the emotional toll that a life of exploration and leadership can exact on individuals. The destruction of the Enterprise also has significant thematic implications for the rest of the film. The ship has always been a symbol of the Federation's ideals, exploration, diplomacy, and unity. To see it torn apart in such a brutal manner challenges the crew to reconsider what they're fighting for. It is a loss that forces them to confront the reality of their mission in a universe that is often hostile and unpredictable. As the crew escapes the wreckage and scatters across the hostile planet Altamid, they are left with nothing but their wits, their skills, and each other. This event forces the crew to adapt and evolve. Stripped of their most powerful asset, they must rely on their strengths as individuals and as a team. Their ability to work together and overcome the loss of their ship becomes the backbone of the film's emotional narrative. The destruction of the Enterprise is not just a physical setback, it is a turning point that forces the crew to redefine their roles and their purpose in the universe. The destruction of the Enterprise also acts as a catalyst for Kirk's personal growth. As the captain, Kirk has always been defined by his leadership, his adventurous spirit, and his confidence in the power of the Enterprise. When the ship is destroyed, Kirk is forced to grapple with his own sense of purpose and identity. His disillusionment with Starfleet and his questioning of his role have been themes throughout the film. But it is only after the destruction of the Enterprise that he fully realizes that his leadership is not defined by the ship or its symbol of power. It is his connection with his crew, his ability to inspire and guide them through adversity, that truly defines him as a leader. This realization also serves as an important moment of growth for Spock. After the destruction of the ship, Spock is faced with his own sense of responsibility to the crew. As the highest-ranking officer after Kirk, Spock is thrust into a position where he must lead, even though his own sense of duty and internal conflict make it difficult. Spock's journey in the film is one of self-acceptance, as he learns to reconcile his logical nature with the emotional bonds he shares with his crew. The destruction of the Enterprise becomes a pivotal point for Spock's character development, forcing him to embrace not just his intellect but also the emotional depth that makes him an effective leader. The loss of the Enterprise also redefines the importance of the crew's relationships. Throughout the Star Trek franchise, the bond between the core crew members, Kirk, Spock, McCoy, Uhura, Scotty, Chekhov, and Sulu, has been central to the success of their mission. In the wake of the ship's destruction, these relationships are tested to their limits. Each member of the crew must find a way to survive and contribute to the team's efforts, and their ability to work together as a cohesive unit becomes their strongest asset. The destruction of the Enterprise brings the crew closer, as they are forced to rely on each other in ways they never have before. This is particularly true for characters like Scotty and Chekhov, who are often seen as supporting characters but are given moments to shine as individuals with vital skills. Ultimately, the destruction of the Enterprise in Star Trek Beyond serves as more than just a thrilling plot point. It represents a significant emotional and thematic turning point for the characters and for the franchise as a whole. The destruction of the ship forces the crew to confront their vulnerabilities and to reevaluate their roles in a vast and unpredictable universe. It is a moment of profound loss, but also one of rebirth, as the crew rises from the ashes to continue their mission of exploration and unity. In this sense, the destruction of the Enterprise is not just a tragic event, it is a necessary catalyst for the growth and evolution of both the crew and the Star Trek story. In Star Trek Beyond, the destruction of the USS Enterprise forces the crew to come together in ways they haven't been tested before. Stripped of their powerful symbol of exploration, the crew must rely on each other's strengths and resourcefulness to survive and defeat the formidable threat posed by Krall. While the loss of the Enterprise is a devastating blow, it also emphasizes the core theme of the film, the importance of teamwork and leadership. Each member of the crew, from Captain Kirk to the newly introduced Jayla, plays a vital role in overcoming the challenges they face, highlighting the deep bond and collaborative spirit that drives the Star Trek universe. Captain James T. Kirk, who has struggled with disillusionment and questions about his place in the universe throughout the film, faces a turning point following the destruction of the Enterprise. Before the attack, Kirk's internal conflict centers around his sense of fulfillment and purpose. He's worn down by the repetitive nature of his missions and feels disconnected from the grandeur of exploration that once excited him. The loss of the Enterprise, however, becomes the catalyst that drives Kirk to rediscover his leadership qualities and his commitment to the crew. Forced to confront a new threat without the usual resources of the starship, Kirk realizes that leadership is not just about commanding a powerful vessel, but about inspiring others to work together for a greater cause. While Kirk is an excellent leader, the film showcases the dynamic between him and his crew, emphasizing the importance of trust and shared responsibility. When the Enterprise is destroyed, the crew is scattered across the hostile planet, Altamid. At this point, Kirk must rely on his team, particularly Spock, Bones, Scotty, Uhura, Sulu, and Chekhov, to help him coordinate efforts to escape and defeat Krall. The theme of teamwork is at the heart of these moments, where individual abilities are crucial in overcoming obstacles. Kirk learns to lead with humility, accepting that he cannot carry the burden alone, and instead must tap into the diverse strengths of his crew members to forge a path forward. Spock, traditionally the logical and stoic officer, also undergoes a significant evolution in Star Trek Beyond. Throughout the film, he is grappling with both the loss of his homeworld and his own sense of duty. While Spock's internal struggle often puts him at odds with the emotionality of his comrades, the loss of the Enterprise brings him closer to understanding the full scope of his role. As the highest-ranking officer after Kirk's disappearance, Spock is thrust into a leadership role. But unlike Kirk, who leads through charisma and decisiveness, Spock leads through reason and thoughtfulness. Despite his naturally reserved personality, Spock's calm and calculated decisions are crucial to the crew's survival. His leadership becomes essential in rallying the crew to confront Krall's threat, showing that leadership can take many forms, whether through direct action, logical thinking, or emotional intelligence. The relationship between Spock and Dr. McCoy, Bones, serves as another example of the dynamic teamwork in Star Trek Beyond. Although the two characters often clash due to their contrasting personalities, Spock's cold logic versus Bones' emotional outbursts, their collaboration is a vital aspect of the team's success. In the face of overwhelming odds, they put aside their differences and work together to find solutions, providing balance between rational thought and human emotion. Their friendship, grounded in mutual respect, becomes even more pronounced after the destruction of the Enterprise, as both men realize the value of trusting one another despite their differences. This synergy between Spock and McCoy represents how effective teamwork thrives on the integration of different perspectives, and their combined efforts reflect the importance of supporting one another in difficult times. Scotty, Simon Pegg, who is known for his mechanical genius and dry humor, plays a key role in the crew's survival on Altamid. As the chief engineer of the Enterprise, Scotty's technical knowledge is critical when the crew is faced with unexpected challenges. However, in Star Trek Beyond, Scotty is given a larger emotional arc as he grapples with the realization that he has lost the ship he's worked so hard to maintain. Despite this personal blow, Scotty's resourcefulness remains invaluable as he assists the crew in navigating their new environment. His partnership with Jayla, a scavenger who has lived on the planet Altamid, proves to be one of the most rewarding aspects of the film. Jayla, initially an outsider and reluctant ally, has deep knowledge of the planet and the resources available to the crew. Scotty's technical expertise and Jayla's resourcefulness form a strong team that allows them to repair broken equipment, create new weapons, and lay the groundwork for the crew's escape from Kral's clutches. The unexpected bond between Scotty and Jayla reinforces the film's message that, in times of adversity, new partnerships can be formed and become just as crucial as established ones. Uhura, Zoe Saldaña, and Sulu, John Cho, also play significant roles in Star Trek Beyond despite being somewhat sidelined in previous installments of the franchise. Uhura's linguistic abilities and diplomatic skills are essential in understanding and communicating with alien species, while Sulu's leadership skills shine as he is entrusted with the command of the starship Franklin after the destruction of the Enterprise. Sulu's growth as a leader represents the increasing sense of empowerment and responsibility among the crew, highlighting that every member of the team has the potential to step into a leadership role when needed. These moments of leadership by both Uhura and Sulu also reinforce the idea of collective responsibility, where each crew member's strengths contribute to the success of the mission. Chekhov, Anton Yelchin, provides another example of the power of teamwork and leadership within the film. Although he is a younger member of the crew, Chekhov's courage and ingenuity are integral to the success of the team's escape. His unwavering loyalty to the crew and his dedication to Kirk's leadership illustrate the importance of rising to the occasion, regardless of one's age or experience. Chekhov's role in the film shows that leadership is not limited by rank or experience. It is defined by one's actions, commitment to the team, and ability to think on their feet in a crisis. Jayla's inclusion in the crew's efforts adds an additional layer of teamwork that highlights the value of new perspectives. As an outsider to the Federation, Jayla initially views the crew with suspicion and mistrust. However, over the course of the film, she comes to see the crew as allies and ultimately joins their mission to thwart Kral's plans. Her resourcefulness, bravery, and knowledge of the terrain on Altamid make her an indispensable member of the team. Jayla's growth from a solitary survivor to a trusted ally of the Enterprise crew highlights the film's message that teamwork transcends backgrounds, and that everyone has something valuable to contribute. The film also portrays the importance of emotional leadership. While Kirk may be the official captain, his ability to inspire the crew is what truly defines his leadership. In moments of crisis, Kirk draws on his deep emotional connection to the crew, reminding them of their mission and the importance of their values. This emotional intelligence is a form of leadership that cannot be measured by logic or rank, but is rooted in human connection and empathy. Kirk's ability to make tough decisions for the greater good, while always considering the well-being of his crew, shows the nuanced nature of leadership in the Star Trek universe. Ultimately, Star Trek Beyond demonstrates that leadership and teamwork go hand in hand. The destruction of the Enterprise forces the crew to rethink their individual roles and come together in new ways. Each member of the crew, whether seasoned veterans or newcomers, contributes to the success of the mission. The unity and loyalty of the team in the face of adversity not only allow them to survive but to triumph against a common enemy. The film reinforces the idea that leadership is not about dominance or control, but about collaboration, support, and trust. The crew's growth, individually and collectively, exemplifies the strength that comes from working together toward a common goal. This theme of teamwork and leadership, woven throughout the film, serves as a powerful reminder of the importance of unity in the face of overwhelming challenges. One of the most enduring relationships in the Star Trek franchise is the one between Spock and Dr. Leonard Bones McCoy. Their bickering, filled with logical contradictions and emotional outbursts, has long been a hallmark of the series. But in Star Trek Beyond, This dynamic evolves and deepens in a way that adds a significant emotional layer to the film. The destruction of the Enterprise and the subsequent trials, the crew faces force Spock and McCoy to not only confront their differences, but also realize how integral their relationship is to the team's survival. Throughout the series, Spock and McCoy have been foils for each other. Spock, with his Vulcan logic and stoicism, and McCoy, with his human emotions and fiery temperament. Their differences are often played for humor, as they banter back and forth. But Star Trek Beyond uses their relationship to explore more serious themes of identity, loss, and the importance of personal connections. In this film, Spock is grappling with the aftermath of the death of his alternate universe counterpart in the previous movie, Star Trek Into Darkness. The loss of this version of Spock, who was essentially his emotional guide and counterpart, leaves Spock vulnerable. He is forced to reflect on his own identity as the last surviving Vulcan after the destruction of his home planet. His emotional walls are more pronounced in Beyond, as he struggles to reconcile the logic of his Vulcan heritage with the feelings of loss and loneliness he is experiencing. This emotional conflict is a departure from the more composed version of Spock seen in previous films. Star Trek Beyond explores this side of him more deeply, showing that while he might remain controlled on the surface, underneath, he is wrestling with significant emotional turmoil. McCoy, on the other hand, is fully human and wears his emotions on his sleeve. He provides a constant counterbalance to Spock's logical detachment, and this film takes their relationship to the next level. McCoy has always served as the moral center of the crew, often questioning the decisions of Kirk and Spock, but his humanity is especially palpable in Beyond. He sees Spock's internal conflict, and despite their differences, tries to support him in a way that reflects the bond that has grown between them over the years. McCoy's empathy, combined with his sharp wit and tendency to speak his mind, provides emotional grounding for the film, especially when the crew faces the devastating destruction of the Enterprise and the personal losses that come with it. The pivotal moments between Spock and McCoy occur when they are forced to work together to survive after the destruction of the Enterprise. When they crash land on the hostile planet Altamid, they are thrown into a situation where their differences are no longer something to be bickered about. They must collaborate to overcome the odds. For McCoy, this means putting aside his frustrations with Spock's logical approach and accepting that his Vulcan counterpart is essential to their survival. For Spock, it means acknowledging that McCoy's emotional insight is just as valuable as his own intellectual prowess. The personal growth of both characters is marked by their willingness to set aside their ideological differences and support each other in a time of crisis. As they work together to rescue the scattered crew and formulate a plan to defeat Krall, the chemistry between Spock and McCoy becomes an anchor for the team. Their partnership is strengthened through their mutual respect, even though their contrasting personalities continue to create friction. The film shows that, while they may never completely agree on everything, they understand the necessity of each other's contributions. McCoy's humanity and Spock's logic combine to form a balanced approach to problem-solving that proves indispensable in their mission. The emotional complexity of their relationship is especially evident when Spock is confronted with the idea of leadership. After the Enterprise is destroyed, Spock temporarily assumes a leadership role as the highest-ranking officer left on the planet. In this position, he faces a significant personal dilemma. Should he continue to lead in the way that has always been expected of him, with cold precision and logic, or should he allow himself to acknowledge his feelings of grief and loss? McCoy, ever the emotional realist, is quick to remind Spock of the importance of embracing his humanity. While Spock's logical inclinations have served him well in the past, McCoy makes it clear that the crew needs more than just his intellect. They need him to be present emotionally as well. This moment in the film represents a turning point for both characters. For Spock, it is a realization that leadership requires more than just being the smartest person in the room. It requires the ability to connect with others on an emotional level. For McCoy, it is a reminder that his role as the heart of the crew is just as important as Spock's intellectual contributions. Their interactions in these moments serve as a poignant reminder that leadership, especially in the context of a team like the Enterprise crew, is not just about making decisions. It is about understanding and responding to the human needs of those around you. One of the most touching moments between Spock and McCoy occurs when McCoy expresses concern for Spock's well-being after the death of Spock's alternate universe counterpart. McCoy's gruff exterior softens as he attempts to console Spock, offering him support in a way that only a close friend can. This moment of vulnerability on McCoy's part shows just how deeply his friendship with Spock has grown over the years. McCoy's outwardly combative personality hides a genuine concern for the well-being of his crew members, and his relationship with Spock is a reflection of the way in which personal growth can come from mutual understanding and emotional openness. As the film progresses, Spock's journey toward emotional self-awareness becomes a key part of his character development. He begins to open up to his crew more, and the film suggests that his logical approach to life no longer serves him as well as it once did. While Spock will always retain his Vulcan principles, the events of Star Trek Beyond show that he can be both logical and emotionally available, a balance that he previously struggled to find. His eventual acceptance of McCoy's emotional support is an important moment in his arc, as it demonstrates his growth as both a person and a leader. For McCoy, the film underscores the value of emotional connection and the need to balance his sharp criticisms with empathy. While McCoy has always been quick to point out the flaws in his colleagues' decisions, Star Trek Beyond allows him to express his emotional growth as well. The respect and trust between McCoy and Spock become even more apparent as the two men not only work together to solve the external problem of Krall, but also help each other deal with their personal struggles. McCoy's role as the compassionate, emotional anchor of the crew becomes even more pronounced as he offers counsel and support to his friends during their most trying moments. In conclusion, the evolving dynamic between Spock and McCoy in Star Trek Beyond serves as one of the most emotionally resonant aspects of the film. Their relationship, built on years of mutual respect and shared experience, allows them to grow in new ways. Spock, typically the embodiment of Vulcan logic, learns to embrace his emotions and the support of his fellow crew members, while McCoy, always guided by his humanity, acknowledges the value of Spock's logic and intellect. Their partnership becomes a symbol of the strength that comes from embracing differences and finding balance between reason and emotion. This deepening of their bond not only enhances the emotional depth of Star Trek Beyond, but also reinforces the themes of friendship, sacrifice, and personal growth that are central to the Star Trek universe. In Star Trek Beyond, one of the standout new characters is Jaylah, played by Sofia Boutella. A fierce and resourceful alien scavenger living on the remote planet Altamid, Jaylah plays a critical role in helping the crew of the USS Enterprise after their ship is destroyed. She brings not only a sense of survival and hope to the crew, but also a fresh energy and new perspective that strengthens the dynamic of the film. Her introduction and subsequent partnership with the crew highlight several themes of the movie, including personal redemption, trust, and the value of unity, despite differences. Jaylah's backstory, abilities, and emotional journey make her a vital character whose contribution is central to the survival and success of the crew's mission. At the start of Star Trek Beyond, Jaylah is presented as a mysterious figure. She lives in isolation on the barren planet Altamid, having survived after Krall's forces took over the planet. Initially, she is a lone survivor, fiercely independent and distrustful of outsiders. This is understandable, given the horrors she has witnessed on Altamid, including the loss of her people. She has managed to avoid capture by Krall and his marauding forces by using her wit, physical skills, and deep knowledge of the planet. Her survival instinct is sharp, and she has learned to make use of the resources around her to stay alive, from scavenging the wreckage of ships to using alien technology in creative ways. When the crew of the Enterprise crash lands on Altamid, Jaylah first appears as a potential threat. Her initial interactions with the crew, particularly with Scotty, are fraught with mistrust and misunderstanding. She's wary of their motives, especially considering her past experiences with other alien invaders like Krall. Jayla's wariness reflects a natural skepticism developed from years of survival in a harsh and unforgiving environment. However, as the plot progresses, Jayla begins to see the crew of the Enterprise, not as adversaries, but as allies with similar goals: survival and the defeat of Krall. Jayla's background is gradually revealed, and it is here that her character takes on a deeper, more emotional layer. Her people were once the inhabitants of Altamid, and they were destroyed by Krall's forces when they sought refuge on the planet. Jayla witnessed the destruction of her home and the loss of her family, which gives her an understandable distrust of others. Her past reflects the tragic consequences of war and conquest, and it becomes clear that her survival instincts are driven not just by necessity but by the scars of her personal history. Despite the isolation and trauma she's endured, Jayla is determined to keep going, using the pain of her past as fuel to survive and continue her fight against Krall's empire. However, it's through her interactions with the crew, especially Scotty, that Jayla begins to open up and trust again. Scotty, a fellow outsider and skilled technician, forms an unlikely bond with Jayla, particularly when they start to work together on repairing the Federation ship, the Franklin, which will be vital in their efforts to escape Altamid and take on Krall. Scotty's technical genius and Jayla's scavenger ingenuity complement each other well. While Scotty's knowledge of technology and engineering allows him to work with advanced machinery, Jayla's resourcefulness and knowledge of the planet's resources provide the means to make those repairs work under the most difficult circumstances. Jayla's partnership with Scotty also highlights another important theme in the film: the value of new perspectives. As an outsider to Starfleet and the Federation, Jayla brings a fresh viewpoint to the crew, which allows her to think outside the box when the crew is faced with difficult situations. She uses unconventional methods to solve problems that may seem impossible to the crew at first. Her ability to adapt to the circumstances and improvise solutions demonstrates a key trait of the Star Trek ethos: the importance of adaptability in the face of adversity. Jayla proves that resourcefulness is just as valuable as formal training when it comes to problem-solving in hostile environments. Jayla's character arc is also one of personal redemption. Throughout the film, we see her evolve from a solitary, mistrustful survivor into a trusted member of the team. Her initial reluctance to join forces with the crew slowly gives way to a sense of camaraderie and shared purpose. She realizes that she can't continue to fight alone, and that the crew of the Enterprise, despite their different backgrounds and experiences, are united by a common goal. This shift from isolation to inclusion mirrors the larger theme of the film: unity and teamwork in the face of a common enemy. By the end of the film, Jayla has fully integrated into the crew, standing alongside them as a valuable member, contributing her skills and insight to defeat Krall. Her role in the final battle against Krall is critical. While the crew works together to confront Krall's forces and destroy his weapon, Jayla's contributions are key in navigating the treacherous terrain and using her knowledge of Altamid to outmaneuver Krall's forces. Her fierce determination, intelligence, and physical prowess make her a formidable ally in the fight to protect the Federation's values. The final moments of the film show Jayla standing proudly alongside the Enterprise crew, having proven herself as a hero in her own right. Another interesting aspect of Jayla's character is her relationship with Spock. Spock, who has always been the rational and logical figure of the team, finds a kindred spirit in Jayla, albeit one who operates from a much more practical, hands-on perspective. Jayla is not bound by the same intellectual discipline that Spock adheres to. She values practicality over theory and action over calculation. Despite their differences in approach, there is a mutual respect between the two, as Spock comes to appreciate her resourcefulness and strength, while Jayla recognizes his calm intelligence and leadership. The film doesn't dwell on a deep personal bond between them, but their interactions subtly underscore the theme that, even in the face of vastly different backgrounds, mutual respect and understanding can form the foundation of effective teamwork. Through Jayla, Star Trek Beyond introduces a new kind of character to the Star Trek universe. While she is independent and capable, her personal journey reflects universal themes of overcoming loss, finding purpose, and embracing unity. Her inclusion in the film not only adds a fresh dimension to the crew dynamic, but also serves as a reminder that heroism comes in many forms. Jayla is an unlikely hero, an outsider who must come to terms with her past, learn to trust again, and ultimately become a key part of the team. Her journey mirrors the larger message of Star Trek, that in order to achieve something greater than oneself, one must be willing to connect with others, even in the face of personal trauma or adversity. In conclusion, Jayla's arrival in Star Trek Beyond is a significant turning point in the film. Her resourcefulness, strength, and emotional growth make her an integral member of the crew and contribute significantly to the success of their mission. Her backstory, which includes loss, survival, and redemption, adds emotional depth to the film and resonates with the broader themes of Star Trek. By the end of the film, Jayla has proven that her value lies not only in her practical abilities, but in her ability to overcome her past and join the crew in pursuit of a common goal. Through Jayla, Star Trek Beyond reaffirms the importance of teamwork, trust, and the power of individual strength in achieving something greater than oneself. In Star Trek Beyond, Krall, the film's primary antagonist, is not merely a villain out for destruction. He represents a deeper, more complex ideological force, one that challenges the very foundation of the Federation and its ideals. As the plot unfolds, we learn that Krall's motivations are not just about personal vengeance or conquest. Rather, they reflect a profound disillusionment with the path the Federation has chosen and the principles it upholds. His character arc serves as a stark contrast to the ideals of the crew of the USS Enterprise, and his plan to bring down the Federation reveals much about his background, his worldview, and the emotional pain that drives him to seek out such extreme measures. Krall's background, as a former Starfleet officer named Balthazar Edison, is revealed gradually throughout the film. This backstory serves as a crucial element in understanding why he has turned against the Federation and become such a destructive force. Once an idealistic and loyal member of Starfleet, Edison's life takes a dark turn after he is left behind on the desolate planet Altamid, stranded for years in the wake of a failed Federation mission. The isolation, the hardships he faced, and his growing sense of abandonment by the very organization he once served created a deep bitterness in Edison, which eventually morphed him into Krall. This evolution is a tragedy of disillusionment, as Krall's discontent with the Federation's shift toward peaceful exploration morphs into a bitter desire to undo everything he once believed in. Krall's actions throughout Star Trek Beyond reveal the full extent of his anger and resentment. His ultimate goal is to destroy the Federation, which he sees as weak and naive for its transition from military conquest to peace and diplomacy. In Krall's mind, the Federation's pursuit of unity and exploration has led to the abandonment of the warrior culture that he believes is essential for survival in the universe. Having been exposed to the harsh realities of life after the Federation's ideals no longer aligned with his own, Krall sees himself as a champion of the old ways, those of strength, war, and power. To him, the Federation's ideals represent a betrayal of the warriors who fought for the survival of the species and the Empire. Krall's motivations, driven by a mix of personal betrayal and ideological extremism, add a layer of depth to his character. He is not a mindless villain, but a man who once believed in a noble cause, only to have that belief shattered by time and abandonment. His hatred is not simply for Starfleet or the Federation itself, but for what they have become. Krall is a tragic figure, someone who was once a part of a greater system, but who has now become disconnected and embittered by that very system's shift toward peace. His sense of betrayal is deeply personal, and the weapon he seeks to use to destroy the Federation is as much about revenge as it is about ideology. The weapon that Krall wields, a powerful and ancient artifact capable of devastating destruction, is a direct reflection of his character and his motivations. This weapon, which has the ability to annihilate entire starships, is not just a tool of violence, but a symbol of Krall's desire to revert the galaxy to a state of chaos. Krall's plan to use the weapon is simple yet devastating. He intends to unleash it on Yorktown, the Federation's most significant symbol of progress and peace. By destroying Yorktown, and thereby targeting the heart of the Federation, Krall aims to strike at the very ideals that have driven Starfleet's success for centuries. His desire to tear down what he once served reflects the bitterness he feels toward the Federation's abandonment of war as the path to strength. What makes Krall a particularly dangerous foe is not just his formidable physical prowess or his powerful weapon, but his ability to manipulate others. He is able to sway individuals to his cause, including some of the crew members of the Enterprise, by appealing to their disillusionment with the Federation. This is most evident in his relationship with Jayla, the young alien scavenger who has survived on Alta Mid after witnessing the destruction of her people by Krall's forces. At first, Jayla is an outsider to the Federation, distrustful of Kirk and his crew. She is caught between her past, filled with trauma and loss, and her desire for revenge. Krall uses this vulnerability to his advantage, attempting to recruit her to his cause by playing on her desire for retribution. However, Jayla ultimately rejects Krall's manipulative tactics, choosing instead to ally herself with the crew of the Enterprise, demonstrating that even those who have suffered can choose a different path than the one of destruction that Krall advocates. Krall's ability to manipulate others is also evident in his relationship with his followers. His command over a band of marauders is an extension of his belief in strength through destruction. Krall's followers are loyal to him not because of his moral integrity, but because they are similarly disillusioned and seek to bring about chaos to dismantle the peaceful order the Federation has tried to build. They are drawn to his ideology of power through violence, rather than the ideals of diplomacy and cooperation that Starfleet promotes. Krall's leadership, founded on fear and the promise of violence, stands in stark contrast to the leadership of Captain Kirk, who leads with trust, empathy, and understanding. At the heart of Krall's destructive plan lies a fundamental misunderstanding of what it means to be strong. While he equates strength with war and destruction, the crew of the Enterprise understands that true strength comes from unity, collaboration, and the ability to overcome adversity through collective effort. Krall's journey, one of bitterness and lost ideals, serves as a foil to the Enterprise crew's journey. While they face challenges and personal struggles, they remain united by the belief that their mission to explore, learn, and help others is the path to true strength. Krall's inability to recognize this is what ultimately leads to his downfall. His obsession with revenge and his refusal to accept change prevent him from seeing that there is more to strength than the ability to destroy. The ideological clash between Krall and the crew of the Enterprise is encapsulated in the film's central conflict. The crew is tasked not only with defeating Krall's forces, but with defending the Federation's ideals. As Krall sets his sights on Yorktown, the crew must work together to prevent the destruction of the Federation's most important symbol of hope. The final battle becomes more than just a fight for survival. It is a battle for the very future of the Federation and its principles. In this struggle, the crew of the Enterprise must show that the power of unity, trust, and peace is stronger than the power of war and destruction that Krall represents. Krall's defeat is not just a victory for the Enterprise crew, but a reaffirmation of the values that have sustained the Federation throughout its history. His death marks the end of an era of destruction, and the crew's triumph symbolizes the enduring strength of hope and cooperation. The film, in many ways, serves as a reminder that even in the face of extreme opposition, the ideals of peace, unity, and exploration will always prevail, as long as individuals remain committed to the greater good. In conclusion, Krall is more than just a villain in Star Trek Beyond. He is a character defined by his disillusionment, pain, and ideological extremism. His background as a former Starfleet officer adds depth to his character, turning him into a tragic figure who has lost his way. His desire to destroy the Federation stems not from a thirst for power, but from a deep sense of betrayal and anger at the Federation's move away from the values he once believed in. Krall's motivations serve as a powerful counterpoint to the crew of the Enterprise, highlighting the importance of unity, trust, and the ability to change. Ultimately, Krall's fall from grace and the crew's victory reinforce the central themes of Star Trek Beyond, that true strength lies not in destruction, but in the ability to unite and build a better future. Star Trek Beyond presents the crew of the USS Enterprise with a daunting challenge as they are forced to defend the very ideals of the Federation, not just from an external threat, but from a villain whose motivations are rooted in disillusionment and ideological opposition. The battle for the Federation's future is the film's centerpiece, both physically and ideologically, as Captain Kirk and his crew must confront Krall, a former Starfleet officer turned antagonist who seeks to dismantle everything the Federation stands for. This section delves into the conflict's emotional and thematic weight, emphasizing how the crew's survival, unity, and dedication to their ideals play a crucial role in securing the Federation's future. Krall's plan to destroy the Federation reaches its climax when he uses a devastating weapon to target Yorktown, a highly advanced space station and symbol of the Federation's progress, peace, and cooperation. Yorktown, located at the intersection of several different species and cultures, represents the Federation's mission to unite diverse worlds in peaceful coexistence. Krall's attack on Yorktown is not just a military strike, but an assault on the very essence of the Federation, its commitment to peace, diplomacy, and the pursuit of exploration. The attack on Yorktown is the film's turning point, as the crew realizes that the stakes have escalated beyond their own survival. While the initial crisis was focused on the destruction of their ship and the isolation of the crew on Altamid, the fight for Yorktown symbolizes the larger ideological battle between Krall and the Federation. For Krall, the Federation's ideals represent a betrayal of the warrior culture he once believed in. His worldview, shaped by years of isolation and bitterness, leads him to see peace as weakness and cooperation as an impediment to survival. For him, the Federation's values have been corrupted, and his ultimate goal is to return the galaxy to a state of chaos where only strength, conquest, and destruction reign. This contrast in values is at the heart of the final battle for Yorktown. Kirk and his crew are fighting not just to survive but to preserve the Federation's future and ensure that its ideals of peace, unity, and exploration remain intact. The emotional weight of the situation becomes clear as the crew must set aside personal differences and work together to prevent the complete annihilation of what they fought for throughout the entire series. The battle itself is intense and action-packed, filled with moments of suspense and danger. The crew, using what little they have left after the destruction of the Enterprise, must rely on their skills, ingenuity, and teamwork to stop Krall. Their initial disadvantage, being stranded on an alien planet with limited resources, forces them to think outside the box, pushing each crew member to contribute in ways they have not been tested before. This challenge requires Kirk to be more than just a leader with a commanding presence. He must be resourceful, adaptable, and inspire his team through sheer determination and faith in their collective strength. The characters who previously took a backseat in previous Star Trek installments come to the forefront in this final battle. Spock, despite his emotional struggles, takes on a more prominent leadership role, relying on his Vulcan logic to devise a strategy for defeating Krall's forces. McCoy, with his medical background, uses his quick thinking to treat injuries and keep the crew operational. Scotty and Jayla, with their technical expertise, prove to be invaluable in repairing vital systems and devising ways to outsmart Krall's forces. Uhura and Sulu also take on more active roles in the battle, showcasing their versatility and commitment to the Federation's mission. The key to the success of the crew lies in their ability to work together as a team. The battle is not won by individual heroism alone, but through the collective efforts of every member of the crew. As each individual plays a crucial role in the larger strategy, the film emphasizes the importance of collaboration and unity in overcoming great adversity. The final battle, serves as a culmination of the team's growth throughout the film. From the initial isolation they felt after the destruction of the Enterprise to the ultimate moment when they come together to preserve the ideals they all believe in. One of the most crucial moments in the battle for Yorktown is the crew's ability to defeat Krall by using his own weapon against him. Krall's weapon, which he has been using to destroy the Federation's fleet, is designed to unleash immense destruction, but it is also a symbol of his own weakness. In a pivotal moment, the crew manages to turn the weapon back on Krall, proving that the power to destroy is not the ultimate strength. The real strength comes from the ability to work together and use the power of unity and cooperation to overcome threats. This final confrontation between Krall and the Enterprise crew is not just a physical battle, it's a clash of ideals. Krall's obsession with destruction and war is ultimately defeated by the crew's belief in hope, unity, and the potential for change. This thematic clash between Krall's destructive ideology and the Federation's ideals of peace and cooperation is reinforced through the film's final moments. As the crew works together to defeat Krall, the symbolism of Yorktown, the symbol of the Federation's future, becomes more apparent. The station, which had previously been a target of destruction, now stands as a beacon of hope and resilience. The crew's triumph not only secures their survival but ensures the Federation's continued existence and its ability to inspire future generations of explorers and peacekeepers. The emotional stakes of this battle are further heightened by the loss of the Enterprise and the realization that the crew's journey is not just about the ship they lost, but about the ideals they continue to fight for. This battle is about the preservation of those ideals in the face of overwhelming opposition. It's about proving that the Federation's commitment to peace, unity, and exploration can survive even the most extreme challenges. The crew of the Enterprise, despite their doubts and struggles, find strength in one another and in the collective mission they serve. The final victory over Krall is not just a personal triumph for the crew, it's a reaffirmation of the core values that have made Star Trek a beloved franchise for decades. The film's resolution emphasizes the idea that, even in the face of devastation and chaos, the values of hope, cooperation, and peace can withstand any threat. The victory also underscores the importance of adaptability and resilience. The crew may have lost the Enterprise, but they have not lost their sense of purpose. They prove that the true power of the Federation lies in the unity of its people and their unwavering commitment to creating a better future for all species in the galaxy. In conclusion, the battle for the Federation's future in Star Trek Beyond serves as the film's emotional and ideological climax. Krall's assault on Yorktown is not just a physical attack but an existential challenge to the Federation's ideals. The crew's response, unified, resourceful, and determined, reaffirms their commitment to the values of exploration, diplomacy, and cooperation. The final victory is a testament to the power of teamwork and the enduring strength of the Federation's ideals, showing that even in the face of overwhelming adversity, unity and hope will always prevail. Star Trek Beyond highlights the central theme of the Star Trek franchise, that the future is shaped not by force or destruction, but by the choices we make in the pursuit of peace and understanding. As Star Trek Beyond progresses into its 9th chapter, the story reaches an emotional high point that delves deep into themes of sacrifice, redemption, and the enduring human spirit. This section brings the journey of the Enterprise crew to a profoundly personal level, highlighting the struggles, growth, and resolve of the individuals who make up the heart of the story. With the fate of the Federation at stake, the crew is forced to confront not only the external threats posed by Krall, but also the internal conflicts that have defined their journey so far. At its core, the 9th section of the story focuses on Captain James T. Kirk's evolving leadership and the sacrifices he must make for his crew and the ideals of the Federation. Throughout the film, Kirk wrestles with feelings of stagnation and self-doubt. His birthday, a reminder that he has outlived his father, weighs heavily on him, and he questions whether his role as captain truly fulfills his purpose. This existential crisis serves as the backdrop for Kirk's actions in this critical chapter, as he comes face to face with what it means to lead and the sacrifices that come with it. Kirk's moment of reckoning arrives when the crew finds themselves in a desperate situation, working against the clock to stop Krall's weapon from annihilating Yorktown. The Enterprise has already been destroyed, leaving the crew reliant on their wits, resourcefulness, and the retrofitted Franklin, an ancient Starfleet ship they discovered on Altamid. The Franklin's limitations serve as a reminder of how far they've fallen from the technological advantages of the Enterprise, yet it also symbolizes their resilience and determination. As Kirk pilots the ship and leads the charge against Krall, he embodies the spirit of a captain who refuses to give up, even when the odds are stacked against him. This chapter also shifts focus to other characters, emphasizing their personal sacrifices and contributions to the mission. Spock, still grappling with the news of Ambassador Spock's death, is faced with the question of whether to continue his Starfleet career or prioritize the preservation of his Vulcan heritage. His internal conflict reaches a boiling point when he is severely injured during one of the crew's attempts to thwart Krall's plans. Despite his physical pain, Spock's determination to contribute to the mission demonstrates his deep commitment to the ideals of the Federation. His relationship with Dr. McCoy also takes center stage during this chapter, as the two find themselves working together in high-pressure situations. Their witty banter gives way to genuine camaraderie, as McCoy's concern for Spock's well-being reveals the depth of their bond. Jayla, the resilient alien scavenger who has been assisting the crew, experiences a transformative moment in this section as well. Having spent years alone on Altamid, haunted by the loss of her family and her inability to escape Krall's grasp, Jayla finds herself surrounded by people who believe in her potential and value her contributions. Her decision to fight alongside the crew represents a significant shift in her character, from a survivor focused solely on self-preservation to a hero willing to risk everything for a cause greater than herself. Jayla's expertise with the Franklin's technology and her knowledge of Altamid prove invaluable, cementing her place as an integral part of the crew. The emotional stakes are heightened as the crew's unity is tested in the face of seemingly insurmountable challenges. The teamwork displayed by the crew is not without personal cost, as each member must confront their fears, doubts, and limitations. For Sulu, the battle takes on a deeply personal dimension as he reflects on his family and what he stands to lose if they fail. Uhura, ever the voice of reason and empathy, plays a key role in rallying the crew and maintaining morale, even as the situation grows increasingly dire. Scotty, with his technical genius and unwavering optimism, keeps the Franklin operational despite its outdated systems, embodying the ingenuity and perseverance that define the crew's spirit. As the action intensifies, the film masterfully balances moments of spectacle with quieter, more introspective scenes that delve into the characters' emotional journeys. One such moment occurs when Kirk and Spock share a candid conversation about legacy and purpose. Kirk's doubts about his ability to live up to his father's legacy are mirrored by Spock's own struggle to reconcile his Vulcan and human identities. Their conversation highlights the mutual respect and understanding that underpin their relationship, as well as their shared commitment to the Federation's ideals. It's a poignant reminder that even in the midst of chaos, the bonds between the crew members remain a source of strength and inspiration. The themes of sacrifice and redemption reach their crescendo as the crew faces a critical decision: to risk their lives to stop Krall's weapon from reaching Yorktown. This moment forces each character to confront the question of what they are willing to sacrifice for the greater good. Kirk, in particular, is faced with a choice that will define his legacy as a captain. His decision to place himself in harm's way to ensure the mission's success underscores his growth as a leader and his willingness to put the needs of others above his own. Krall's character is also explored in greater depth during this section, revealing the motivations behind his hatred for the Federation. Once a Starfleet officer named Balthazar Edison, Krall became disillusioned with the Federation's ideals after being stranded on Altamid and abandoned by the very institution he had sworn to serve. His transformation into Krall is a tragic tale of bitterness and resentment, driven by a belief that the Federation's focus on unity and peace undermines humanity's survival instincts. This revelation adds a layer of complexity to the conflict, as the crew must grapple with the fact that Krall's actions, while abhorrent, stem from a place of profound pain and betrayal. The emotional climax of this chapter lies in the crew's unwavering resolve to uphold the Federation's values, even in the face of Krall's cynicism and hatred. Their actions serve as a testament to the power of hope, unity, and the belief that a better future is possible. This section not only advances the plot, but also reinforces the central themes of Star Trek Beyond, that the strength of the Federation lies in its ability to bring people together, and that even in the darkest of times, the bonds of friendship and the pursuit of a common goal can prevail. As the crew prepares for the final showdown with Krall, their sacrifices and struggles take on a greater significance. This chapter serves as a powerful reminder of the emotional core of the Star Trek franchise. The idea that the journey is not just about exploration and discovery, but about the people who embark on that journey and the values they hold dear. The sacrifices made in this section lay the groundwork for the ultimate triumph of hope and unity, setting the stage for a resolution that is as emotionally satisfying as it is action-packed. As Star Trek Beyond builds toward its climactic finale, the story shifts to an intense and emotionally charged chapter that delves into the crew's efforts to execute a bold plan to thwart Krall's catastrophic ambitions. This section encapsulates the themes of unity, resilience, and the Federation's core ideals of protecting life and seeking peace, even in the face of overwhelming adversity. The stakes have never been higher, as the crew of the USS Franklin races against time to stop Krall's bioweapon from annihilating Yorktown and everyone within it. The chapter begins with the crew's frantic preparations aboard the Franklin. Having reactivated the ancient ship earlier, they are now faced with the monumental task of navigating it through Yorktown's complex structure to intercept Krall before his bioweapon can be deployed. The Franklin, while functional, is far from ideal for such a mission. Its outdated systems and limited firepower make it a risky choice, but it also symbolizes the crew's ingenuity and determination. For Kirk, the Franklin represents more than just a means to an end. It's a testament to Starfleet's enduring legacy and the perseverance of those who came before him. Kirk's leadership is at its most compelling here, as he balances the weight of command with the need to inspire and unite his crew. Addressing the team, he acknowledges the dangers they face but emphasizes the importance of their mission. His words resonate deeply with the crew, reinforcing their shared commitment to the Federation's principles. Each member of the team plays a critical role in the plan, showcasing their unique skills and the power of collaboration. The moment serves as a reminder that their strength lies not in their individual abilities, but in their ability to work together as a cohesive unit. The plan itself is as audacious as it is dangerous. The crew deduces that Krall intends to use Yorktown's ventilation system to distribute his bioweapon, which would result in the deaths of millions. To stop him, they must navigate the Franklin through Yorktown's intricate gravity system and intercept his ship before he can reach the central hub. The journey is fraught with challenges, as the Franklin's outdated navigation systems struggle to adapt to Yorktown's complex gravitational dynamics. Scotty, with his unparalleled technical expertise, takes charge of ensuring the ship's systems remain operational, while Spock and McCoy provide critical support in analyzing Krall's movements. One of the standout moments in this section is the interaction between Spock and McCoy. Their relationship, characterized by a blend of sharp wit and mutual respect, takes on a deeper emotional resonance as they work together to decipher Krall's plan. Spock, still recovering from his injuries, remains steadfast in his commitment to the mission, while McCoy's concern for his friend manifests in moments of uncharacteristic vulnerability. Their dynamic provides a touch of humor and humanity amidst the tension, highlighting the bond that has developed between them over the course of their journey. Meanwhile, Jayla continues to prove her worth as an invaluable member of the team. Her familiarity with Altamid's technology and her resourcefulness come into play as she assists Scotty in optimizing the Franklin systems. Jayla's transformation from a lone survivor to a key player in the crew's mission is one of the most compelling arcs in the film, and this section underscores her growth and resilience. Her determination to fight back against Karl, who robbed her of her family, is a powerful testament to her courage and strength. As the Franklin approaches Karl's position, the tension reaches a fever pitch. The crew's efforts to navigate Yorktown's gravitational maze are depicted with breathtaking visuals and pulse-pounding action, creating a sense of urgency that keeps the audience on the edge of their seats. The scene is a masterful blend of spectacle and storytelling. As the physical obstacles the crew faces mirror the emotional and moral challenges they must overcome. Karl's character also takes center stage in this section, as his motivations and backstory are further explored. Once a Starfleet captain named Balthazar Edison, Karl's transformation into a vengeful antagonist is rooted in his deep disillusionment with the Federation. Stranded on Altamid and abandoned by the organization he had devoted his life to, Edison's bitterness festers into hatred. His use of alien technology to extend his life and amass power reflects his descent into a corrupted version of himself, driven by a belief that survival is achieved through conflict and strength rather than unity and cooperation. The confrontation between Kirk and Karl is charged with philosophical and emotional weight. Kirk, representing the ideals of the Federation, challenges Karl's worldview, arguing that unity and collaboration are humanity's greatest strengths. Their ideological clash adds depth to the action, elevating it beyond a simple battle between good and evil. Kirk's unwavering belief in the Federation's principles serves as a counterpoint to Karl's cynicism, underscoring the film's central message of hope and resilience. As the Franklin closes in on Karl, the crew executes a daring maneuver to intercept his ship. Utilizing Yorktown's unique gravitational layout, they position the Franklin in a way that allows them to block Karl's path while simultaneously preparing to neutralize the bioweapon. The sequence is a testament to the crew's ingenuity and teamwork, as each member contributes their expertise to ensure the plan's success. The climactic moments of this section are a whirlwind of action, emotion, and spectacle. The crew's efforts culminate in a high-stakes showdown that tests their limits and reaffirms their commitment to their mission. Kirk's leadership, Spock's intellect, McCoy's compassion, Jayla's resourcefulness, and the collective resolve of the team come together in a thrilling display of unity and determination. The section ends on a hopeful note, as the crew prepares for the final phase of their mission, determined to protect Yorktown and uphold the values they hold dear. This chapter of Star Trek Beyond encapsulates the essence of the franchise: the exploration of complex moral dilemmas, the celebration of diversity and teamwork, and the unwavering belief in a brighter future. The emotional and narrative stakes are expertly balanced, creating a compelling and impactful chapter that sets the stage for a powerful conclusion. As Star Trek Beyond surges toward its climax, Section 11 takes the audience into a tense and action-packed confrontation between the crew of the USS Franklin and the formidable Karl. This chapter is not just about physical battles and dramatic chases. It also embodies the ideological clash between hope and despair, unity and division, and the Federation's enduring principles against Karl's destructive worldview. The sequence begins with the Franklin's crew successfully maneuvering through Yorktown's gravity maze, using the station's unique gravitational design to position themselves at a critical point to intercept Karl. The visuals are awe-inspiring, with the Franklin defying traditional physics, spiraling through inverted skyscrapers and atmospheric pockets. The crew's determination is palpable as they brace themselves for what feels like a last stand, knowing the stakes: millions of lives at Yorktown and the Federation's future itself. Captain Kirk, fully stepping into his role as a leader, rallies his team. His speech is both pragmatic and deeply emotional, highlighting their collective responsibility to protect life and uphold the Federation's ideals. Kirk's words resonate with each crew member, reinforcing the unity that has brought them this far. While his tone is resolute, there's a layer of vulnerability as he reflects on what the mission has cost them and what they're fighting to save. His reflections echo his father's sacrifice and his own journey of embracing the responsibilities of command. Meanwhile, Karl moves closer to deploying his bioweapon. His plan is clear: release the deadly pathogen into Yorktown's ventilation system, allowing it to spread rapidly and annihilate everyone on the station. Krall's motivations become even more apparent through flashbacks and his interactions with captured Yorktown personnel. Once Captain Balthazar Edison of Starfleet, his transformation into Krall is a harrowing tale of isolation, betrayal, and the corrosive effects of power. Stranded on Altamid for decades, Edison's descent into madness is rooted in his belief that survival comes only through conflict. His hatred for the Federation stems from a perceived betrayal, as he views the organization's ideals of peace and unity as naive and ineffective. This section doesn't simply paint Krall as a villain. It provides insight into the man he once was and the tragic choices that led him down this dark path. His corrupted ideology, twisted by his prolonged alien-enhanced existence, serves as a counterpoint to Kirk's belief in unity and hope. The dichotomy between these two leaders adds emotional and philosophical depth to the impending confrontation. The Franklin's crew works together seamlessly, each member playing a crucial role in the mission. Spock and McCoy are tasked with devising a way to neutralize the bioweapon if it's released. Their partnership, a blend of sharp wit and mutual respect, shines through in their interactions. Spock, ever logical and composed, contrasts with McCoy's fiery passion and concern for the lives at stake. Their dynamic provides both levity and tension, highlighting the strength of their bond despite their differing approaches. Jayla, having fully embraced her place within the crew, takes on a critical role in navigating the Franklin through Yorktown's complex structures. Her knowledge of Altamid's technology proves invaluable as she assists Scotty in maintaining the ship's systems. Jayla's arc reaches a powerful moment here as she confronts her fears and finds the courage to stand alongside the crew. Her transformation from a survivor seeking isolation to a member of a united team is deeply satisfying and underscores one of the film's central themes: the power of connection and trust. As the Franklin approaches Krall's ship, the crew faces a series of escalating challenges. Krall's forces launch a counterattack, and the ensuing aerial battle is both visually stunning and narratively gripping. The Franklin's outdated systems and limited weaponry put them at a significant disadvantage, but the crew's ingenuity and teamwork tip the scales. Scotty's quick thinking and technical prowess keep the ship operational, while Sulu's masterful piloting maneuvers them through the chaotic battlefield. Kirk's confrontation with Krall takes center stage in this section. The two engage in a high-stakes battle of wits and wills, with their dialogue encapsulating the ideological divide between them. Krall's cynicism and belief in conflict, as the ultimate driver of progress, clash with Kirk's unwavering faith in unity and the Federation's mission. Their exchange is as much a battle of ideals as it is a physical fight, with each man embodying opposing visions of the future. The physical confrontation is intense and brutal, taking place in the narrow confines of Yorktown's ventilation system. The setting heightens the tension, as every move feels precarious, and every misstep could spell disaster. The fight choreography is meticulously crafted, blending raw physicality with moments of strategic cunning. Kirk's resourcefulness and determination shine through as he counters Krall's brute strength with calculated tactics and a refusal to give up. At the same time, Spock and McCoy race against the clock to neutralize the bioweapon. Their efforts are depicted with heart-pounding urgency as they navigate complex systems and overcome unexpected obstacles. The stakes feel incredibly real, with every second bringing Krall closer to his goal. The combination of Spock's logic and McCoy's intuition proves to be a winning formula, highlighting the importance of balancing different perspectives and approaches. The climax of this section comes as the crew finally manages to disrupt Krall's plan. Using a combination of teamwork, ingenuity, and sheer determination, they outmaneuver his forces and prevent the bioweapon from being deployed. The moment is a triumph of unity and collaboration, with each crew member playing a vital role in the victory. The Franklin, battered but unbroken, stands as a symbol of their resilience and the enduring spirit of Starfleet. As Krall is defeated, his final moments are a mixture of rage and resignation. The once proud Starfleet captain who believed in the ideals of exploration and discovery is now a broken man, consumed by his own hatred. His downfall serves as a poignant reminder of the dangers of losing sight of one's values and the corrosive effects of isolation and bitterness. Section 11 concludes with the crew regrouping and reflecting on their hard-fought victory. The battle has tested them in ways they never imagined, but it has also reaffirmed their commitment to the Federation's principles. The camaraderie and unity that have carried them through this ordeal are stronger than ever, setting the stage for the resolution of the story in the final chapter. With Krall's plan thwarted and the deadly bioweapon neutralized, the crew of the USS Franklin emerges victorious, though not unscathed. The aftermath of this grueling battle is a poignant moment of pause, allowing the characters and audience alike to absorb the weight of what has transpired. This section serves as an emotional reset, highlighting the personal and collective journeys of the crew, while exploring the broader implications of their triumph. The scene begins with Yorktown Station settling into an uneasy calm. The once chaotic hub of the battle now feels eerily quiet, the silence amplifying the devastation left in the wake of Krall's attack. Damaged structures, scattered debris, and a wounded populace bear testimony to the stakes of the confrontation. Despite the destruction, there is an undercurrent of resilience, a determination to rebuild and honor those who gave their lives in defense of Yorktown. The crew of the Franklin gathers aboard the station, exhausted but relieved. Their victory feels bittersweet. While they successfully prevented a catastrophe, the scars of battle are visible on their faces and in their interactions. The camera lingers on each character, capturing their individual responses to the events. Kirk stands apart from the group momentarily, gazing out at the stars with a mixture of pride and introspection. His role as a leader has been solidified, but it is clear the weight of his decisions weighs heavily on him. Kirk reflects on the journey that brought them here, particularly the sacrifices made along the way. His thoughts drift to his father, George Kirk, whose heroism in the face of insurmountable odds inspired James to join Starfleet. The parallels between their experiences are unmistakable, and Kirk finds himself grappling with the legacy he has inherited. This moment of quiet introspection allows the audience to connect with Kirk on a deeper level, as his vulnerability and humanity shine through. Meanwhile, Spock and McCoy share a moment of mutual understanding. Their partnership during the mission has deepened their bond, bridging the gap between Spock's Vulcan logic and McCoy's emotional intuition. As they discuss the events, Spock opens up about his recent struggles with identity and duty. His near-death experience has shifted his perspective, reaffirming his commitment to Starfleet and his place among the crew. McCoy, in his characteristically blunt yet caring manner, reassures Spock that his presence is invaluable, not just for his intellect but for his loyalty and friendship. Jayla, too, experiences a moment of catharsis. Her journey from isolation to belonging reaches a satisfying resolution as she stands among the crew, finally feeling part of something greater than herself. Scotty approaches her with a warm smile, commending her bravery and ingenuity during the mission. Their camaraderie is genuine and heartwarming, with Scotty encouraging Jayla to consider joining Starfleet. Her initial hesitation gives way to a hint of excitement as she begins to see a future filled with purpose and connection. As the crew processes their emotions, Yorktown's leadership recognizes their heroic efforts. Commodore Paris addresses the gathered Starfleet officers, praising their unity and dedication. Her words resonate deeply, serving as a reminder of what the Federation stands for: cooperation, exploration, and the pursuit of peace. The ceremony is understated yet moving, with the crew receiving a heartfelt ovation from the station's inhabitants. Kirk takes the opportunity to speak, his words reflecting both gratitude and determination. He acknowledges the loss they have endured and the challenges that lie ahead, but his tone is hopeful. Kirk emphasizes the importance of unity, drawing on the lessons learned during their battle with Krall. His speech is a testament to the resilience of Starfleet and the enduring spirit of exploration that defines their mission. In a quieter moment, Kirk confides in Spock about his internal struggle with purpose. He admits that he was considering leaving Starfleet before the mission, feeling as though his life lacked direction. Spock listens intently, offering thoughtful insight into the nature of leadership and the impact Kirk has had on those around him. Their exchange is deeply personal, reinforcing the trust and respect they share. The section also delves into Krall's tragic story, adding depth to the narrative. As the crew reviews logs recovered from Altamid, they piece together the fragments of Krall's life. Once Captain Balthazar Edison, a decorated Starfleet officer, his descent into hatred and despair is a cautionary tale. Stranded and abandoned, he succumbed to bitterness, his worldview warped by isolation and loss. The crew's reflection on his fate underscores the importance of hope and connection, serving as a stark reminder of what can be lost when these values are forsaken. The rebuilding of Yorktown becomes a symbol of renewal and resilience. The station's inhabitants, inspired by the crew's heroism, come together to repair the damage and honor those who sacrificed their lives. This collective effort mirrors the Federation's core principles, reinforcing the idea that strength lies in unity. As the section draws to a close, the crew begins to look toward the future. Jayla officially decides to join Starfleet, her journey coming full circle as she embraces her new path. Scotty promises to help her through the academy, their bond serving as a reminder of the friendships forged during their mission. Spock recommits to his role aboard the Enterprise, finding clarity in his purpose. Kirk, now more confident in his role as captain, prepares to lead his crew on their next adventure. He recognizes that the challenges they face will continue to test them, but he also knows that their unity will see them through. The section ends with the crew standing together, gazing out at the stars with a renewed sense of purpose. This chapter captures the emotional and thematic heart of Star Trek Beyond, celebrating the resilience of the human and Vulcan spirit while honoring the ideals of exploration and unity that define the Star Trek universe. As the dust settles on Yorktown Station, the crew of the USS Enterprise gathers their collective breath, savoring the bittersweet victory over Krall. The once imposing figure of the villain, who had sought to destroy everything they held dear, is now a memory, a reminder of the cost of resilience and the strength that unity brings. The battle is won, but the scars of the journey linger, prompting reflection, gratitude, and a determination to embrace new beginnings. Captain James T. Kirk stands on the observation deck, gazing at the expansive view of the galaxy, a scene that feels more poignant now than ever. The burden of leadership often weighs heavily on him, but this moment offers a chance to reflect on the journey that brought him here. Kirk, who had been contemplating leaving Starfleet earlier, now feels a renewed sense of purpose. His crew's unwavering loyalty and their shared triumphs remind him that his role as captain is not just about exploration. It's about fostering connections and guiding others through the challenges of the unknown. Spock, too, experiences a profound transformation. The loss of Ambassador Spock had left him questioning his place in Starfleet and his connection to his Vulcan heritage. However, the mission's success serves as a testament to the value of collaboration and the strength that comes from embracing both his Vulcan logic and human compassion. His bond with Lieutenant Uhura deepens as they navigate their emotions together, finding solace in their shared experiences and mutual respect. Meanwhile, the crew collectively begins the process of rebuilding. Yorktown Station becomes a symbol of resilience, its infrastructure damaged but its spirit unbroken. Engineers and civilians alike work tirelessly to restore what was lost, with Starfleet officers lending a hand. This effort fosters a sense of camaraderie, bridging the gap between civilians and officers who, for the first time, see each other as equal contributors to a shared goal. Dr. Leonard Bones McCoy, ever the voice of sarcastic wisdom, takes on the role of morale booster. His sharp wit and unrelenting dedication to the well-being of the crew remind everyone that even in the face of adversity, there is room for humor and humanity. He shares a quiet moment with Kirk, reflecting on how their friendship has evolved over the years. "We've seen the worst of the galaxy and lived to tell the tale," McCoy says, raising a glass. Here's to doing it all over again, preferably with fewer explosions next time. The younger members of the crew, including Ensign Chekhov, bring a renewed energy to the team. Chekhov's ingenuity during the crisis earned him the admiration of his peers, and he now carries himself with a confidence born of experience. His camaraderie with Scotty, the ship's chief engineer, highlights the importance of mentorship and shared knowledge. Scotty, always inventive and resourceful, takes pride in teaching the next generation of Starfleet officers, ensuring that the legacy of ingenuity continues. Amid the rebuilding efforts, Yorktown becomes a place of celebration. Families reunite, friendships are forged, and the spirit of hope permeates every corner. The crew of the Enterprise finds moments of joy in the simple things: a shared meal, a story told over drinks, or the sight of children playing in newly restored parks. These moments remind them of what they fight for: a galaxy where such peace and happiness are possible. Yet, the specter of Krall lingers in their minds. His story, as revealed through the recordings and evidence left behind, serves as a cautionary tale about the dangers of losing oneself to anger and isolation. The crew debates the lessons to be learned from his downfall, recognizing the importance of empathy, understanding, and open communication. Kirk, in particular, feels a responsibility to honor Krall's past as Captain Edison by ensuring that Starfleet never loses sight of its mission to unite, rather than divide, civilizations. The restoration of the Enterprise begins, symbolizing a new chapter for the crew. Watching the ship being rebuilt sparks a mixture of nostalgia and excitement. For Kirk, it's a chance to lead his team into the unknown once more. For Spock, it's an opportunity to reaffirm his commitment to Starfleet's ideals. For the entire crew, it represents hope, resilience, and the unbreakable bond they share. As the narrative progresses, the crew reflects on how their individual journeys have shaped them. Sulu, a devoted father, finds inspiration in his daughter's bravery during the attack, reminding him of why he chose this life of exploration. Uhura, whose courage and intellect were instrumental in the mission's success, contemplates the balance between her personal relationships and professional responsibilities. Each member of the team, in their own way, prepares to face the challenges that lie ahead with renewed strength and determination. The section concludes with a poignant scene. The crew, gathered together on the observation deck of Yorktown, watches the stars. Kirk, addressing his team, speaks of the adventures yet to come and the importance of facing them together. "We've been through the fire," he says, his voice steady yet heartfelt. "And we'll face it again if we must, but as long as we stand united, there's nothing we can't overcome." In that moment, the USS Enterprise crew is not just a team. They are a family. The shared trials and triumphs have forged bonds that will endure through any storm. As they prepare to embark on their next mission, they carry with them the lessons of the past, the hope of the present, and the promise of the future. The stars beckon, and the journey continues. With the battle behind them and the ashes of destruction beginning to clear, the crew of the USS Enterprise turns their focus toward rebuilding what was lost. The physical damage to Yorktown Station, though vast, pales in comparison to the emotional weight carried by its inhabitants. The scene is one of hope, resilience, and camaraderie as individuals come together, united by the shared goal of creating something stronger and better from the fragments of their world. Captain Kirk, standing amidst the controlled chaos, observes the rebuilding efforts with a mixture of pride and reflection. The decision to stay with Starfleet and continue his journey as a leader feels more right now than ever before. He recognizes the sacrifices made by his crew and the people of Yorktown and vows to honor those sacrifices by ensuring that the Enterprise remains a beacon of hope. His interactions with those around him are filled with a newfound depth, his words offering comfort and encouragement to those who look to him for guidance. Meanwhile, Spock finds himself immersed in a delicate balance between duty and personal growth. The events of the mission have solidified his understanding of the human experience, bridging the gap between his Vulcan logic and the emotions he once struggled to embrace. His conversations with Uhura reveal a vulnerability he rarely shows, as he reflects on the loss of Ambassador Spock and the legacy he hopes to carry forward. Together, they share quiet moments of connection, the unspoken bond between them serving as a reminder of the strength found in unity. The engineering team, led by the ever-resourceful Scotty, works tirelessly to restore the Enterprise. The sight of the ship being pieced together again becomes a symbol of resilience for everyone at Yorktown Station. Scotty's innovative mind and unwavering determination inspire his team, many of whom are young engineers eager to prove their worth. His mentorship fosters an atmosphere of collaboration and creativity, with every challenge met by a collective effort to find solutions. The sounds of welding, hammering, and problem-solving fill the air, underscoring the unyielding spirit of Starfleet. Dr. Leonard Bones McCoy remains a steady presence amid the chaos, offering his unique blend of sarcasm and compassion to lift the spirits of those around him. His medical expertise is in constant demand as he tends to the injured, but it is his ability to provide emotional support that leaves a lasting impact. McCoy's blunt honesty and dry humor become a source of comfort for his friends, reminding them that even in the darkest times, there is room for light and laughter. Elsewhere, Sulu, Chekhov, and the rest of the crew each find their own ways to contribute to the recovery efforts. Sulu's unwavering focus on his duties is driven by thoughts of his daughter and the world he hopes to leave behind for her. His determination is contagious, inspiring those around him to push through their exhaustion and keep moving forward. Chekhov, with his youthful energy and ingenuity, proves himself to be an invaluable asset, tackling complex challenges with enthusiasm and optimism. His light-hearted banter with Scotty brings moments of levity to the intense work of rebuilding. As the days turn into weeks, Yorktown Station begins to transform. What was once a scene of destruction becomes a testament to the strength of human and non-human resilience. The civilian population, though shaken by the events, finds solace in the collective effort to rebuild their community. Families come together, neighbors forge new bonds, and the station gradually returns to life. The shared experience of survival fosters a sense of unity that transcends cultural and species differences, embodying the ideals of the Federation. The process of reconstruction extends beyond the physical, as Starfleet takes the time to reflect on the lessons learned from their encounter with Krall. His story, though marked by tragedy and misguided rage, serves as a stark reminder of the importance of compassion and understanding. Captain Edison, once a celebrated Starfleet officer, became Krall through a series of events that highlighted the dangers of isolation and resentment. Starfleet leadership recognizes the need to address such vulnerabilities within their ranks, initiating conversations about mental health, leadership support, and the importance of maintaining the Federation's core values. For Kirk and his crew, these reflections lead to meaningful discussions about their own experiences. The bonds forged through their shared trials are stronger than ever, and they find comfort in leaning on one another. Kirk, in particular, takes the time to acknowledge the contributions of each member of his team, expressing his gratitude for their loyalty and bravery. These moments of connection reinforce the sense of family that defines the crew of the Enterprise, reminding them that they are never alone in their journey. The culmination of the rebuilding efforts is marked by a grand celebration at Yorktown Station. The atmosphere is one of joy and relief as the inhabitants come together to honor their collective resilience. Speeches are made, music fills the air, and laughter echoes through the station's corridors. The crew of the Enterprise, though eager to embark on their next mission, takes the time to savor this moment of triumph. Amid the festivities, the newly rebuilt USS Enterprise stands as a symbol of hope and perseverance. Its sleek design gleams under the station's lights, a testament to the skill and dedication of those who worked tirelessly to restore it. For Kirk and his crew, the sight of their ship represents not just a return to duty, but a renewal of purpose. As the celebration draws to a close, Kirk gathers his crew for a final moment of reflection before they set out on their next adventure. His words are filled with gratitude and determination as he speaks of the challenges they have faced and the strength they have found in one another. "We've come through the fire," he says, his voice steady yet filled with emotion. "And we'll face whatever comes next with the same courage and unity that brought us here. Together, there's nothing we can't overcome." With the stars once again calling to them, the crew of the USS Enterprise prepares to embark on their next mission. The journey ahead is uncertain, but the bonds they share and the lessons they have learned ensure that they are ready for whatever lies beyond the horizon. The galaxy awaits, and the crew of the Enterprise stands united, ready to face it together. As the USS Enterprise soars into the depths of space, its renewed hull gleaming under distant starlight, the crew settles into their roles, ready for the next chapter of their storied journey. The trials they've endured have transformed them, individually and collectively, into a stronger and more united force. Each member of the crew carries with them a deeper understanding of the fragility of life, the value of unity, and the weight of their responsibilities as explorers, diplomats, and protectors of peace in an often chaotic galaxy. Captain James T. Kirk stands on the bridge, gazing out at the vast expanse before him. His hands rest confidently on the captain's chair, though his expression reflects a mix of contemplation and determination. The mission ahead is yet to unfold, but Kirk is resolute in his belief that the Enterprise and its crew are prepared for whatever lies ahead. Reflecting on the recent conflict with Krall, he understands the importance of balance between tradition and progress, between duty and personal well-being, and between the ideals of Starfleet and the practical realities of leadership. Kirk's journey of self-discovery has come full circle. What began as a young man's pursuit of adventure and recognition has evolved into a deep commitment to the principles that Starfleet represents. His decision to continue as captain of the Enterprise is not just a professional choice, but a personal one. A reaffirmation of his purpose and his belief in the value of exploration, diplomacy, and unity among civilizations. Spock, seated at the science station, methodically reviews data streams from nearby star systems. The Vulcan's ever-logical mind is a constant source of insight for the crew, but recent events have led him to embrace a more balanced approach. The loss of Ambassador Spock has left an indelible mark on him, serving as both a source of grief and inspiration. Spock's introspection has led him to appreciate the emotional connections he has formed with his crewmates, especially Nyota Uhura, whose unwavering support has been a source of strength. Spock's reflections extend to his role as a bridge between cultures. He recognizes the importance of fostering understanding and cooperation, both within the crew and in their interactions with other civilizations. The mission of the Enterprise, to seek out new life and new civilizations, aligns perfectly with his personal journey of exploration, not just of the universe, but of his own identity. Dr. Leonard McCoy, or Bones, moves purposefully through sickbay, his gruff demeanor masking a deep compassion for his patients. The events at Yorktown Station tested his medical expertise to its limits, but they also reinforced his belief in the resilience of the human and non-human spirit. Bones takes pride in the fact that, despite the odds, they emerged from the ordeal stronger and more united. His sharp wit and sarcasm remain as sharp as ever, providing levity during tense moments on the ship. Yet beneath his grumbling exterior lies an unwavering dedication to the well-being of his crewmates. McCoy's role extends beyond that of a doctor. He is a confidant, a voice of reason, and at times the emotional anchor of the crew. His friendship with Kirk remains a cornerstone of the ship's dynamic, their banter underscored by mutual respect and loyalty. Uhura, back at her station as communications officer, reflects on the power of connection. Her linguistic skills and ability to bridge cultural gaps have always been vital to the crew's success, but the recent events have deepened her understanding of the importance of communication in fostering peace and unity. Her relationship with Spock continues to evolve, built on mutual respect and a shared commitment to their duties. As she monitors subspace channels for signals of potential encounters, Uhura is mindful of the delicate balance required in Starfleet's missions. Diplomacy, empathy, and a willingness to listen are as essential as technological prowess when it comes to building relationships with alien civilizations. Uhura's presence on the bridge is a constant reminder of the values that underpin Starfleet's mission. Meanwhile, Scotty oversees the final adjustments to the ship's systems, his passion for engineering shining through in every detail. The rebuilt Enterprise is a marvel of innovation, and Scotty takes immense pride in the role he played in restoring it. His bond with the ship is almost tangible, and he treats its systems with the care and precision of an artist perfecting their masterpiece. Scotty's enthusiasm for his work is infectious, inspiring those around him to push the boundaries of what's possible. His innovative thinking and quick problem-solving are assets the crew relies on time and again. Whether it's devising a way to enhance the ship's warp capabilities or finding unconventional solutions to unexpected challenges, Scotty's ingenuity ensures that the Enterprise remains at the forefront of exploration. Sulu and Chekhov, stationed at the helm and navigation consoles respectively, represent the future of Starfleet. Sulu's calm and steady presence is complemented by Chekhov's youthful energy and enthusiasm. Together, they form a formidable team, their synergy ensuring that the Enterprise operates at peak performance. Sulu's thoughts often drift to his family, particularly his daughter, whose safety and future motivate him to give his best every day. Chekhov, with his boundless optimism, approaches each mission as an opportunity to learn and grow. Their friendship adds a sense of camaraderie to the bridge, reinforcing the idea that the Enterprise is not just a ship, but a family. As the Enterprise ventures deeper into uncharted space, the crew encounters new wonders and challenges. The vastness of the galaxy offers endless opportunities for discovery, from breathtaking celestial phenomena to encounters with alien species whose perspectives broaden their understanding of the universe. Each mission serves as a reminder of the importance of Starfleet's mission and the values it represents. The crew's experiences have taught them that exploration is not just about charting star systems or gathering scientific data. It's about building bridges, fostering understanding, and finding common ground in a universe filled with diversity. The Enterprise, as a symbol of Starfleet's ideals, carries with it the hopes and aspirations of countless individuals who believe in the power of unity and cooperation. As Captain Kirk gives the command to engage the warp drive, the familiar hum of the engines fills the bridge. The stars stretch into streaks of light, and the ship hurtles toward the unknown. The journey ahead is uncertain, but the crew faces it with courage, determination, and the knowledge that together, they can overcome any challenge. The USS Enterprise, its legacy forged through trials and triumphs, continues its mission to boldly go where no one has gone before. The future is vast and full of possibilities, and the crew stands ready to embrace it, their shared experiences serving as a foundation for the adventures yet to come. Star Trek Beyond is a thrilling character-driven installment in the beloved Star Trek franchise that combines dazzling visuals, heartfelt moments, and a gripping storyline. Directed by Justin Lin, the film takes audiences on an exhilarating ride filled with action, exploration, and the enduring themes of unity and hope. The movie follows the crew of the USS Enterprise as they face one of their greatest challenges yet, a formidable enemy named Krall, who seeks vengeance and destruction. What stands out most in Star Trek Beyond is its balance of action-packed sequences and deeply personal character arcs. From Kirk's self-doubt as a leader to Spock's reflection on his identity and relationships, the film explores the humanity and Vulcan logic that makes these characters so relatable. The standout performances from Chris Pine, Zachary Quinto, Karl Urban, and Sofia Boutella as the fierce and charming Jayla elevate the movie. Boutella's portrayal brings a fresh energy to the ensemble, and her chemistry with the crew is seamless. The late Anton Yelchin as Chekhov is bittersweet to watch, and the film honors his legacy beautifully. Visually, the film is stunning, with awe-inspiring space battles and inventive designs for alien worlds. The destruction of the Enterprise is one of the most jaw-dropping moments in the series, masterfully executed to evoke both tension and heartbreak. The Yorktown station is another highlight, showcasing the imaginative world-building Star Trek is known for. The movie's themes of resilience, teamwork, and diversity resonate deeply, reminding audiences why Star Trek remains a cultural touchstone. Its emphasis on collaboration and finding strength in differences feels more relevant than ever. The humor sprinkled throughout the film also hits the mark, especially the banter between McCoy and Spock, providing moments of levity amid the chaos. The soundtrack, including the use of Sabotage by the Beastie Boys, adds a unique and electrifying touch, perfectly capturing the spirit of the film. While Star Trek Beyond doesn't radically redefine the franchise, it stays true to its core values and delivers a satisfying, emotionally resonant experience. Fans of the series will appreciate its nods to the original, while newcomers can still enjoy its action and heart. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this deep dive into Star Trek Beyond, don't forget to hit the like button and share your thoughts about the movie in the comments below. Which part of the film resonated with you the most? Be sure to subscribe for more movie reviews, fun facts, and in-depth discussions about your favorite films. Hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. Until next time, live long and prosper.